Rory Jennings still here in the studio. Cole Palmer, thoughts? 4 goals in the first half. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, he is a joke, really, isn't he? When you think about quite the level that he's playing at, and has been consistently brilliant for Chelsea since the second he landed at the club. He is outrageous. The only thing that I find slightly frustrating when we talk about Cole Palmer is the conversation about, is he the best player in the league? I don't think that does him justice at all. I really do think that we should be talking about where does he rank in the world. We should be comparing Cole Palmer to the likes of Kylian Mbappe and the likes of Jude Bellingham, not the likes of Phil Foden or Bukayo Saka.
So why do you say that?
Because I think that what he has done, the level that he has done it, bearing in mind last season under Mauricio Pochettino, quite often at Chelsea, the ceiling was crumbling down. It was falling apart. The one jewel in a rather uninspiring crown was Cole Palmer. So he was doing it for a team that were in the doldrums, and yet he was a beacon of light. And then you just look at the stats as well. I don't really like to talk about stats with regard to Cole Palmer because he's such a beautiful footballer to watch. He is the antidote to the modern day boredom of football. You know, he plays football like a 70s maverick, doesn't he? He plays pretty much where he wants. He can do everything. He is just a joy to behold. And in a game that has become so boxed in, so predictable, so athletic, so tactical, he is the antidote. Basically does what he wants and he does it with ease.
What was your favourite goal out of the 4?
I mean, the free kick is truly stupendous. Like the free kick will go down in history as one of those free kicks that we watch. You know, when you talk about iconic free kicks, just in terms of the precise nature of it, the postage stamp precision around it.
And the bravery and how ambitious he was to take from that angle that far away to get it so accurate.
The one that I think most people will think of when they think of perfect free kicks, they'll often think of David James versus Cristiano Ronaldo. I think this is that. I think it's that good. I think it's that perfect. It's that precise. And he is truly ridiculous. Like, if you think about what he is doing, he scored a hat-trick in 10 minutes. 4 goals in the first half for the first time in Premier League history. He's breaking record after record. And the important thing to remember is he's doing it in a Chelsea team now that are playing some beautiful football. And the foursome that he's part of moving up the pitch, it's very intimidating for any opposition defender. But last year under Pochettino, we were stagnant and he was playing to that level. So it's remarkable quite how good he is. He seems to be getting better and better. He's doing it for a team now that are firing. And I just think that with him playing like this, the ceiling for Chelsea has just gone up and up and up. So it's really exciting. But this will blow your mind. Since he made his debut for Chelsea, in terms of the statistics with regard to Erling Haaland has been involved in 38 goals since Palmer made his debut for Chelsea at the beginning of last season. 38 goals Haaland has been involved in, either scored or assisted. Since that same date, since that same debut, Cole Palmer, 42 goal involvements. So it's actually more goal involvements for Chelsea than Erling Haaland has had for Man City in the same time frame. So it really is mind-blowing. And at some point, someone, other than me, is going to have to be brave enough to say Pep Guardiola made a pig's ear of this whole situation.
It's also interesting because when he spoke post-match, he was actually annoyed that he didn't get 5 or 6, which just goes to show how much more there is to come from him.
Well, do you know what? It's a real shame, particularly the first one. You know, the one that hit the post. The offside was probably... Well, it was offside. The one that hit the post, though, it's such a shame that didn't go in because it was the take, not necessarily the finish. The finish was predictably brilliant from Palmer, but we've seen it before. But it was the take because it wasn't the best pass to him, but he kind of trailed a leg and then pulled the ball through into his stride in one movement. It defied science and logic. It was brilliant. And if that had ended up in the back of the net, that could have been the best goal of the lot because he had no right to take the ball with him. It's unbelievable what he's doing. It's you know when I said like we can't really be comparing him to other mere mortal footballers in the Premier League, we need to be looking bigger than that. We could even go one further and you go history. Like, this is Wayne Rooney, isn't it? This is when I was a kid, Michael Owen. It's that. That's what Cole Palmer is doing at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to do it consistently, but he is at the moment.
Yeah.
But he needs just a bit more, game time and stuff like that. But let's talk about Enzo Maresca because you came in for some criticism, didn't you, when you said that Enzo Maresca had benefited from a favourable fixture list so far. Are you warming to him more now because he's done quite well?
Yeah, he's done very well. Well, Brighton's a test.
Yeah.
Brighton is a test. The point that I was making prior to the Brighton game was Man City was the test and we didn't pass it. I felt like the games that we played in between those, well, it was all teams in the bottom 8 that at the time had managed to amass 2 wins between the 4 teams that we'd beaten. So I expected us to win those. Brighton, though, at home...
Crazy game as well.
Yeah, it's a real test, especially going 1-0 down. Like, we went 1-0 down, then we went 3-1 up. It's sort of normal services resumed at Stamford Bridge. When Stamford Bridge was a fortress, I mean, you've got to have quite a good memory for that now, but when it was a fortress, if you go back to Tuchel at times, but certainly Conte's era, it really was a fortress. That's what was almost expected. You rarely went a goal down, but if you did... something changes immediately and Diego Costa scores and everything's fine again. That's what happened in that game. Goal down and suddenly 3-1 up and everything is as it should be. So we are certainly moving in the right direction. Brighton was the test that I wanted us to pass. Forest next week now, tricky, but winnable. But winnable. And if we win that, we then go into a game against Liverpool where, it could be us 2 at the top of the league if things go our way.
Top of the league?
Well, it could be us 2 at the top of the league with Liverpool. By the time we played them. So if things go our way.
Well, I mean, what would constitute success for Chelsea this season, realistically?
I will always say silverware to that question. I think
silverware over top 4?
For me.
Okay.
But this is very personal. I think if you asked 100 Chelsea fans, probably 70 will say top 4 before they say a trophy.
Why do you think that is?
I'm in the minority. I just say a trophy because I love silverware. I will always. I always love silverware. I'll never sneer at silverware. It's why I've been quite sympathetic over the years to Ten Hag.
Because he's won
silverware. Yeah, because I was born in an era where Chelsea went 25 years without a trophy. So I will always be greedy for silverware. But I think most Chelsea fans will say Champions League. And I think the ownership and the players, I think they will probably prioritise the Champions League. I just prefer silverware. But if we can, let's be greedy. We've got Cole Palmer. Let's go for top 4 and a FA Cup win.
Do you think Cole Palmer could get the Ballon d'Or one year?
Absolutely.
Yet,
no.
But,
and not this year. I don't think you can ever win it at a club in the Conference League.
No.
I don't think you can ever do that. But yeah, I don't see it. I think it's more of a suggestion that he should. If you would put an out there suggestion, I don't think that's one. If you would say name someone who wins the Ballon d'Or in the next 10 years. I think
Cole Palmer,
almost first name on a team sheet is Cole Palmer for that question, yeah. Cole Palmer is more likely to win a Ballon d'Or than any other young player that I can think of at the moment.
How long do you think Cole Palmer can stay at Chelsea before a Real Madrid comes sniffing or a Barcelona or a big team?
Depends. This now chimes exactly with the conversation we just had.
Yeah.
So if Chelsea finish in the top 4 and win silverware, there's absolutely no reason for him to leave. If Chelsea don't win silverware but make the top 4, I would say there's no reason for him to leave. If Chelsea don't make the top 4, if we're not playing in the Champions League, like he scored a goal for England in the Euros final. He's so good. If Chelsea aren't competing in the Champions League, it becomes hard to keep hold of your best players if you're not in the Champions League. And that's not only about Cole Palmer. That's about everyone. But Cole Palmer will obviously be very sought after. And if he's doing what he's doing, you could see a world where if things go well for Man City this season, if everything goes as they want, they've got to be looking at somehow trying to, replenish their squad and rectify their mistake. And the allure of Real Madrid then comes up, doesn't it? But this happens. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. Arsenal fans are having to deal with people going Saliba, Real Madrid, because he's a brilliant player. The fact that you're even talking to me about Chelsea losing Cole Palmer is a brilliant thing because it means that he's doing the business and Chelsea are kind of knocking on the door of doing business simply because we're associated with Cole Palmer.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.